Thank you for joining us on Film at 11. I'm Tommy Parker, once again joined by 9th Judicial District Attorney, that's a mouthful, Ricky Smith. Ricky, again, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. One of the subjects that's become a hot topic in our community is why are certain people, i.e. Charles Jones and Dudley Maynard, y'all go through the process, you do your job, the court sentences them, and apparently the Department of Corrections is choosing to send them right on back home.
That's right. And that we are as upset about it, I think, as anybody, because we spend a lot of time and effort to make sure that we get these convictions, and then we see that some of the individuals are being released back fairly quickly.
The house arrest program, and I've been in communication in conjunction with this interview. I'm going to publish the communications I've had with the Department of Corrections in regard to Charles Jones in particular. They refer to them as still being incarcerated.
That's right. That's the way the MDOC views house arrest. MDOC says house arrest is incarceration. You're just doing your time in your home rather than in Parchman or one of the satellite units.
Well, and I discussed this with Sheriff Pace recently. Obviously, I'm discussing it with you. Our general consensus is that it appears to be a problem on the state level, but unfortunately, the folks at the local level are the ones getting asked the questions. People, I'm sure, have inundated your office with questions, the why, so to speak. I know Sheriff Pace said the same thing. He wasn't aware that Dudley Maynard was out on the street until he passed him in traffic.
And it's understandably so. I mean, it's like with Charles Jones. I have the letter here that we received from MDOC letting us know that Charles Jones was going to be released. We received that about 8 o'clock the day before he was going to be released. So we get, and that was faxed to us. If I had not reviewed the faxes for that day, we wouldn't have known probably then. But that's the kind of notice that we get as far as house arrest.
It's my understanding on several of these cases, both yourself, Sheriff Pace, and one of the district judges has signed documents requesting that they not be released, but Mississippi Department of Corrections has still gone against y'all's wishes anyway.
That happens quite often on everybody that, well, of course now, as far as the house arrest is concerned, we don't sign those documents because those documents are for people who are going to be released from incarceration. And again, the way MDOC looks at it is while they're on house arrest, they're still incarcerated. So these are those community attitudes that we sign are generally just for those people who are about to be paroled or released to earn release supervision. But I can tell you that I'm told by the people I deal with with MDOC that those documents really mean very little, that they're not really considered that strongly when deciding who to release and who not to release.
Now, while we're on the subject of house arrest and methods of incarceration, I'd like to reference the Warren County Drug Court because many of these people are in a similar scenario, but they are court-ordered into this program, or in most cases, it's my understanding, is through a plea agreement where they're basically getting a second chance at life by enrolling in this program, but it's a very stringent, very highly structured and well-monitored program. Please tell us a little more about that.
And I'm proud of the drug court. I'm proud to say that I was one of the people when Judge Voller decided that we needed a drug court. I was one of the first people he contacted when I was a defense attorney because I had raised those problems with him that what was going on with my clients is I was pleading them to probation and basically putting them right back in the same situation they were in when they got in trouble in the first place. So it was almost understandable that they were going to get in trouble again. And Judge Voller took that mantle and ran with it and asked me to come along. I was with the group that created the drug court here in Warren County back in 2005. And I'm very proud that we have that program. But that is what it is. It's basically to give somebody a second chance. And it's a voluntary program. I can't order anybody into the drug court program. The defendant has to agree that that is in his or her best interest, and it's done by plea. It is a very stringent program, especially for the first part. It requires an inpatient treatment program for a period of time. During your first 6 or so months in the program, you have to come to court every Tuesday night and look Judge Cheney or Judge Patrick in the eye and There's a drug court team that the DA's office is a part of that meets every Monday night and discusses every participant, not at length, but the ones that have messed up we discuss at length. And so the judge knows on Tuesday night who has messed up the week before. And so you have to come in every week and look that judge in the eye and say, Judge, I messed up last week, and it's an instantaneous consequence for that. You go straight to jail. So the drug court program does keep a very strong hold over individuals in it. And it's been fairly successful. I've appreciated it.
In addition to that, they have 2 full-time staff members whose job, although they carry sheriff's department credentials, they drive marked patrol cars, they are marked for the drug court, but I know on frequent occasions I hear them out late at night checking on somebody or taking somebody into custody. So these people are being monitored very closely in our community.
They are. You have 2 field officers who do a wonderful job, and they work 24 hours a day, basically. I mean, they know that the time that most of these individuals are going to be getting in trouble are at night, and so they're out on the road often at night. They're on the road a lot, transporting the participants from their wherever they do their inpatient treatment. We use some areas up in Greenville, I believe. I know we use some areas in Jackson, some chemical dependency units over there, and of course Warren Yazoo Mental Health here. But they work very hard, and they keep a very close eye on what they're doing.
Hopefully our community leaders, i.e. our Board of Supervisors, will continue to subsidize that program because it's become a vital part of what you do. As you referenced, Judge Voller got us started, but we need to make sure that program remains funded and supported throughout our effort.
We do, and we still utilize it to a large extent. We look at a lot of these first-time drug offenders, possession. Of course, you're not eligible for it if you sell or transfer. It's only for those who possess. As far as drugs are concerned, now any nonviolent crime can be eligible for it. But it's a program that does help, and it has made a difference in some people's lives. Because I've seen it. One of the first people we put in the program, when we first got it started, we all sat around the table and said, this guy would never make it. We saw him when he came in, you could just tell life had gotten him. But by that time, generally it's an 18-month, 2-year program. By the time that 2 years was up, he was a different person, had a full-time job, had his own place to live. It just changed his life around, and that's happened to several people.
And they actually go through a graduation at that point.
They do.
A job well done scenario.
We have graduation for them, have a little party afterwards because it's they have truly turned their life around, and we have put them back out on the street as a productive member of society. The drug court requires everybody works. You can't be in drug court and not work. So they're now paying taxes, contributing back to society.